Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I wish to have my say on this matter. And it's indeed true that it would be, to say the least, immoral of any government officer to allow such a property. A property on Gong Road, Honorable Speaker, that's about an acre, is not worth anything less than a billion shillings now. And that land is at a very prime location, if you know where that land is, where the former Uchumi supermarket was on Gong Road. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the chair and the committee that the best thing that the National Treasury can do, a loan of about 160 million, is something if the National Treasury came to us here even under 223, we could easily approve. So that being shareholders, they rescue the auction of that particular property. And they can also, Honorable Speaker, get into an agreement with the bank for them to be able to sell the property jointly. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, what will happen if you leave the bank to auction? And you know what happens with these banks, Honorable Speaker. Auctions, and I know you're an accomplished lawyer, and many lawyers are involved in these things.
At least I'm not, but go ahead.
I said many lawyers, and I said you are a very accomplished one, Honorable Speaker. So you know what banks do, and those who are in charge of auctioning properties in banks. And many Kenyans have suffered under the hands of auctioneers and banks. Therefore, we cannot then, as a people, collectively owning an asset, suffer when we have the means to do something about it. Honorable Speaker, it is imperative that the National Treasury, the Principal Secretary, the Director in charge of investments at the National Treasury must act with haste and ensure that that property is not auctioned solely by the bank. If it has to be auctioned, Honorable Speaker, some of the things, and I know the supermarket is still under receivership, but being part of the investments that the people of Kenya own through the National Treasury, the National Treasury have a duty to protect that investment. We are talking about privatization now, Honorable Speaker, and divestiture of government in certain investments that are made. This is part of the business that the National Treasury officers in charge of investments should be looking at. How do you secure the investment that we put in Uchumi as a government and as a people of Kenya by ensuring that you do not lose value in it by having it being auctioned by a bank at a throwaway price? Because ordinarily, what they will do is the bank officials and auctioneers will collude. And in actual sense, in most cases, it is bank staff who end up buying properties being auctioned through collusion of their officers and auctioneers. Honorable Speaker, when the loan is 165, you'll find them going to say that the reserve price is 180 to cover their loan and interest and auctioneer fees. And that is what usually happens, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, if the National Treasury was to get into an arrangement with the bank, and I'm certain the Central Bank of Kenya can give them that leeway, that either the National Treasury pays off the loan and they get the first charge, so that at the time the receiver is able to liquidate that asset, then the National Treasury can recover back its money. Alternatively, Honorable Speaker, they can sell it jointly, but we must never allow the bank to be able to auction that property on their own, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I've also seen, and allow me to say this because it's a good opportunity, I've seen in the media a lot of talk. And you know the other day, Honorable Speaker, when I spoke about somebody being financially illiterate in some vernacular station, they took offense. But when you're financially illiterate, you are. And I said I'm also illiterate in some aspects. For instance, I'm broadcast illiterate. So I will not seek to broadcast anything in a studio because I don't know how to do it. But I am very financially literate. And Honorable Speaker, I have heard many people speak how government is selling off assets. Honorable Speaker, ignorantly, people are not looking at the Privatization Act, which we passed here as a privatization bill only, I think, about 3 or 4 months ago. And that Privatization Act now makes it very clear how government will divest from investments it had made in the past, whether it is through initial public offering, whether it is through the identification and getting into joint ventures with strategic investors, whether it is through what would be an outright sale of some assets, Honorable Speaker. And there's a lot of propaganda out there. I have heard them saying, oh, KICC is being sold. Honorable Speaker, KICC today, 90% of the tenancy at KICC, I think, is Parliament, paying peanuts because it's a government to government. But this is a prime location in our CBD. A prime location, Honorable Speaker, if KICC was, for instance, to be leased to a hotel chain, a chain of hotels that can run, those who have the expertise and the private sector expertise to run conferencing facilities and hotels, convert the whole building into a hotel, for instance. You can imagine the amount of money government would be able to generate rather than wait for myself and yourself, Honorable Speaker, to get small corner offices there and Parliament pays peanuts, or government ministries who never pay because it's government to government. KICC, I'm certain, owes other government agencies money. They owe parking fees. I've seen City Council of Nairobi claiming parking fees from them. Kenya Power, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, all the negative propaganda that is being propagated in line with what we have done here with the Privatization Act, Honorable Speaker, people must know, those who are propagating this negative propaganda, that government assets are being sold for a song, or there are certain deals anywhere. The law we passed is very clear on the process of divestiture, how you identify what assets government will divest from, how you will divest, whether it's through initial public offering, like was done with Safaricom or Kengen, Honorable Speaker, in the years gone, or whether it is through the input of a strategic investor, or whether it is leasing, like we said with the sugar companies in Western Kenya and parts of Nyanza, and elsewhere, Honorable Speaker, that you will lease, you will not sell off those assets, Honorable Speaker, so that Kenyans are able to derive value
Honorable Mwinyi, what is out of order?
out of their...
Honorable Mwinyi, what is out of order?
Speaker, the leader of our majority is now engaging in another debate. He was supposed just to contribute towards uchumi and not to delve in the matter, of course, of selling properties of the government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Which other debate is this?
Thank you, Honorable
Go
Speaker.
ahead.
You know, I said, Honorable Speaker, finance is difficult. And to understand divestiture, investments, may be difficult for many people.
Don't go there.
So, Honorable Speaker,
well,
uchumi is an investment in Kenya. And Honorable Speaker,
allow you to insinuate anything against Honorable Mwinyi. You are doing very well.
it is a chair of finance who is insinuating things from my back. I hope the Hansard is not capturing what he's saying, because I can hear him saying certain things about finance and law, Honorable Speaker. But I was saying, it is divestiture, investments, all these things are related, and that's why I veered off, Honorable Speaker, to speak about divestiture through privatization, because uchumi, government has shareholding, substantial shareholding in uchumi, and therefore we cannot afford to lose money as people focus on all the wrong things using negative propaganda. People are focusing on KICC. We have a hotel next to us here, what is it, Intercontinental, that died with COVID. Hilton Hotel. Government has shares in all those assets. Honorable Speaker, you may need to ask yourselves, would that hotel probably be better off being utilized by Parliament than this parliamentary tower that we have built for close to 15 years now? Honorable Speaker, I beg to support, and we must be unequivocal, Honorable Speaker, that the National Treasury must act and ensure that that property is not sold for a song. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.